Let's dive right in. Today we're asking a pretty provocative question. When it comes to technology in our primary schools, who should actually be in charge of teaching it? We're going to look at why so much of it feels stuck in the past and uncover a really different take on who might be the right person for the job.
So let's start with the big puzzle, right? We're living in this incredible age of AI that can write a song for you, cloud tools that let us work together from anywhere on the planet. So why is it that when you walk into so many primary schools, the tech feels like a time capsule from the 1980s?
I mean, just think about it. The world we all work in runs on cloud collaboration, on AI-powered tools. But for so many kids in UK state schools, the reality is these isolated computer labs, basic software, and no way to even get to their work from home. It's this massive, fundamental disconnect between how the world works and how we're teaching our kids to work.
A digital skills educator named John Goodyear just hits the nail on the head with this. He says schools are always moving up, but never moving forward. You know, they get new hardware, faster Wi-Fi, so on paper, yeah, they're moving up. But if the way they use the tech hasn't changed an inch, are they really moving forward?
And that leads us right into our first section here, the digital standstill. Look, this isn't a new problem, but the lockdowns back in 2020 just threw it into the spotlight, and it revealed this huge missed opportunity, especially for state schools.
So picture this. Before 2020, private schools were already all over these free cloud platforms from companies like Google. Then boom, lockdown hits. State schools are scrambling. So the Department for Education, the DFE, steps in and rolls out the exact same free platforms to help them out. But what happened after? A whole lot of schools just switched them off. The problem wasn't money. These tools were free. The argument is it was something deeper, just a total lack of interest.
So if the system itself is stuck, who on earth can fix it? Well, this is where we meet the central figure in this whole story, John Goodyear. And he's coming at this from a completely different angle.
Okay, now listen to this quote from the man himself. He says he's never been to university, doesn't have a degree, doesn't even have a teaching qualification. And right about now, you're probably thinking, hold on, why is this guy teaching computing to hundreds of kids a week? Well, that's the whole point.
Because you see, his qualifications aren't on a piece of paper. They're in 25 years of real-world, in-the-trenches experience. He's a Microsoft certified systems engineer, a web designer, and electronics hobbyist. He has this deep, practical understanding of tech that you just don't get from a standard teacher training course.
And this isn't just a 9-to-5 for him. He's on a mission. He actually calls his work a one-man war against decay because he's fighting what he sees as this kind of scary indifference to getting the next generation ready with the skills they actually need. I mean, wow.
And that passion, that war, leads him directly to his solution, which is our next section, computing across the curriculum. This is all about blowing up the idea of what a computing lesson even is.
So, what is this cross-curricular computing? The idea is actually really simple, but it's a total game changer. Instead of teaching computing in its own little box, you know, an hour of coding here, a PowerPoint lesson there, you weave it into everything. You use tech to make geography and English and science come alive.
Okay, check out this real-world example, a geography project on natural disasters. The kids don't just write a boring report. No, they use AI to research, they crunch the data in a spreadsheet, they make these cool graphs, and then, this is the best part, they build an interactive Google Earth tour. They're learning geography, data analysis, and digital storytelling all at the same time. Or get this, for an English lesson, the students write their own poems, and then they use an AI music generator to turn their words into completely original songs. It's this amazing blend of classic literacy and brand new tech, and it just unlocks a whole new level of creativity.
And that creativity, that's really the whole point, isn't it? So what are the actual results of teaching this way? Well, this is where you see the impact it has on every single student, no matter their ability.
But first, you gotta understand the mountain we're asking typical teachers to climb. Goodyear asked a group of student teachers, the ones doing their postgraduate teaching degree, how many of them felt confident teaching computing. Not a single hand went up. 100% said they felt unprepared. That is the confidence gap that an expert from the outside can fill. And what's the feedback from the teachers who see this happening in their classrooms? One said it perfectly. This approach helps all students achieve no matter what level they are. For kids with special educational needs, these AI and cloud tools are like a superpower, helping them create amazing work they can be so proud of. And this second piece of feedback, this one really gets to the heart of it. Can you just imagine the buzz in that classroom when kids are hearing their own poems turned into music for the very first time? It makes learning feel magical, and the teachers absolutely see the value of having that outside expertise in the room.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? Innovative teacher, incredible results, happy kids. But this success story has a twist, and it's a big one. And that brings us to our final section, the unemployable innovator.
So here's the scene. You've got head teachers and school leaders from other schools coming to visit his classes. They see the cool projects, they see the engaged kids, the smart use of tech, and they are blown away. Every single time. In fact, a lot of them pull him aside afterwards and say, "This is incredible. We would have offered you a job in a heartbeat if we'd known about you." His skills are recognized, they're valued, they're wanted.
And here is the gut punch. Over the last 10 years, he has sent those exact same schools dozens of job applications. And you know how many replies he's gotten back? 0. Not a single one. He gets praised in person, but his resume gets tossed by a system that filters for formal qualifications over proven real-world results. 450. That's not just some number. That's 450 kids every single week who are learning 21st century skills from a passionate expert. It's just a reminder of the huge difference he's making, even with all these ridiculous barriers in his way.
And all of this leaves us right here with this really uncomfortable question. If our education system says it wants results and innovation, but the hiring process won't even look at the person who's actually getting them, then who are we missing? And who should really be the one teaching our kids computing? It's something we really need to think about.